Hi, I'm RJ with Paperform. I'm here with Neeraj from Learn to Be. It's great to have you here. How about we start, Neeraj, just with you introducing yourself. Tell us a bit about your nonprofit and the mission behind it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. My name is Neeraj. I am the founder of Learn to Be, and it's a nonprofit that I started way back in 2008 with my childhood best friend. And we started this thing one weekend, built a website, decided that we wanted to build something productive in our community. We didn't know exactly how it would turn out, who we would help, but we knew that we wanted to do something around tutoring. We found there wasn't really anything in this space that was helping the communities that we wanted to serve. And so, yeah, in true kind of hacky startup resourceful way, we got together one weekend and yeah, put something on the internet. And we've had the same mission since, which is to provide free one-on-one online tutoring to underserved youth.
How did that passion start? How did you
Yeah.
land on that as a mission?
So it's a really good question. I was tutoring at my local university. My co-founder, I believe he was also tutoring. We knew though that we weren't really able to help the kids as much as we wanted to. We were driving out to some local city and meeting students in person. And my co-founder, in his kind of astute wisdom, thought, hey, why don't we try to do something that can scale a little bit more than what we're doing right now? And I had a few tech skills and he had a few business skills. And so we got together and thought, okay, let's see if we can do this for a broader group of students at a larger scale. Now, specifically, why did we pick or how did we land on the target demographic? I think a lot of it was born out of seeing two things. One, just there was a dearth of resources for these kids, and also maybe the market was kind of ripe for like a tech-based solution, even way back in 2008, to do this sort of work. And so that's in a nutshell how we landed on this demographic.
It's awesome. And over the years, you've obviously impacted a lot of these kids. Can you tell me about the kids that you're helping? And I say kids as a general term, obviously, like
Yeah,
there's different age groups and brackets that you're helping. Tell me a bit about who you're serving.
yeah. So we help students K through 12, and we help them in just about any subject that they might need help with. But the types of students we serve are really students who come from families who can't afford to pay for private tutoring. Private tutoring is very expensive. It's anywhere from $25 to $50 an hour. And that price point is just too exorbitant for many of the families that in the United States. And so we wanted to provide a service that was free, available to students who were traditionally underserved. We help a lot of single moms, a lot of parents who are really, they're doing all the things right. They are working really hard, trying to provide for their kids. And there's just this area that they can't seem to help with. We want to be a resource for them.
What's the overarching impact of Learn to Be throughout the years?
Yeah, so I'll segment it into the kind of vanity metrics, the output metrics, and then some of the outcomes that we've been able to collect.
Okay.
From a vanity perspective, we've hosted over 300,000 hours of tutoring to
Wow.
date.
Yeah.
Now, I think 280,000 of those have come since the pandemic started, which is
Wow.
when we saw a huge uptick in our services. Helped a hair under 20,000 students, I believe, with this tutoring. Again, a lot of those students coming after the pandemic. And in terms of outcomes, we allow parents to self-report. So we ask them if there have been any test score improvements and or grade improvements that have come as a result of the tutoring. And we see about a 15% increase in test scores after about 20 hours of tutoring. And we see a grade and a half improvement for students who stick with us for about 20 to 25 hours of tutoring. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome thing to see. And certainly we have a long ways to go to make sure that we're really, really helping students to learn the things that they need. But pretty good start.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Before you were using Paperform, what's the challenges you were facing?
So Learn to Be has historically just been me and my co-founder. There was no, it was kind of a nights and weekend thing. We didn't have a lot of funding. We couldn't really pay for developers. So it was just one person working after hours, and at least on the tech side. That makes it pretty difficult to allocate resources to building the features that you might want in a tutoring platform, whether that's accepting student applications, tutor applications, accepting donations, accepting feedback. All of these things are critical to a tutoring platform, and we didn't really have the resources to build a lot of that in-house. So I think that was probably the fundamental issues. How do we actually build everything that we need to as quickly as possible? At the time, and I'm fast forwarding a bit to like 2016-ish, but a lot of like low code tools started popping up. Yeah, we were looking for something that would help me more easily build out some of these things without having to manual code everything that we needed, and enter Paperform.
Yeah. So what was the specific need that you had for Paperform?
So I think in general, we really did have a need for, part of this is born out of my laziness. I didn't want to build this advanced form collection on the student side, and then this complex form on the tutor application side. I didn't want to have to build all of that like myself. So when I found Paperform, the initial things that I set it up for were actually the things that I talked about. The easiest was donations. I think one of the most wonderful things about Paperform was how quickly you can spin up a form and then connect it to your Stripe account, and then you're kind of like you're done. There's not really anything else that needs to be done, and they even give you do like it's like the little details that matter too. I could have a test account and a production account, so great. I don't have to keep charging my actual credit card, for to test this out. Like little things like that mattered, and I think that there was a nice attention to detail on that front. So donations, perfect. That was the first thing that we set up. The next thing we set up was student applications was the next thing we set up. So families who came and wanted to enroll in our program would fill out a form. We set that up on Paperform next. And then from there, we went to tutor applications, still an embedded Paperform on our site. And then tutor and student survey. So after each session, collecting data from tutors and students. And I looked at the data before this, and I think we have something like a 250,000 submissions from our tutors from all the sessions that they posted in the years that we used to it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a lot. So obviously, like Paperform has been able to cover quite a number of different areas, so that you can automate those processes. You're not, I mean, you said you didn't have to build it yourself. It's there, it plugs in. So then you obviously, there's other form builders out there. What made you choose Paperform over those other form builders?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot of it comes down to ease of use of building. You can kind of tell that this was built like by a developer who has a good product sense, because it really is just very easy to build. And I feel like now I'm just like shilling for Paperform, but it really is like, it's very simple to build. It's not a difficult process. And I think the second thing is that it gives you just about all the versatility that you would want in terms of like conditional rendering of questions, which I think is important. Oftentimes, you can go to Google Forms and build a simple form, but anything more complex becomes a little bit more difficult. But that it really isn't an issue. And then very reliable webhooks. That is very big for me. Despite me not wanting to build the forms, I still wanted the data in our database. And so being able to get all that data back to us, awesome.
I know that, when in education, particularly if you're looking at tutoring, you've got the tutor and the student, and privacy is really important and paramount. So how has Paperform helped you, collecting submissions, collecting data, collecting information, just in regards to that and compliance?
It's a good question. The thing that comes to mind here, it's actually another kind of developer-friendly thing. There were times when we didn't want to store data on Paperform. We wanted the data sent to us, but we didn't want the folks to store it because we had information about minors. That was awesome. Like that feature was great. And that's in addition to all the kind of GDPR compliance and all that good stuff that comes about as a result of using Paperform, cool. But I think that second thing about not having like transient storage on Paperform really, really helped us a lot. And they helped us specifically when we were talking to some schools that wanted to work with us and they wanted to know what kind of security we were having with our data. Well, that sort of thing helped us.
So if you think about, all the over all the years that you've used Paperform as part of your nonprofit, what's been the overall impact? How helpful Paperform has been to improving your workflows and your efficiency within your organization?
So let me say one thing, and then I'll go back to the workflow thing. I think I mentioned a minute ago that we have 250,000 submissions from, these are post-session feedback forms that are filled out by tutors. We have over 250,000 of them. And this is tutors telling us things like what they worked on with their student, what went well during that session, any concerns they had about the student or the family as a result of that session or after that session. This is a treasure trove of data for us to send to funders, to share with families as well, to say, hey, your tutor said that your student is like really doing so great learning X material. Awesome. Just a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. And it was so easy. And I'll give you an example of this. You can customize emails that are sent in Paperform. After a submission, what we do is we automate emails to parents if the tutor said something really, really nice about the student, because we want parents to know, hey, your student is really smart and you should know this and you should go buy them some ice cream or whatever it is. That workflow, we don't have to do anything on our team. Tutor submits an application, tutor application submitted, that data comes to our database. Our team will immediately vet that application within 24 hours. Information, the submission approval goes out to the tutor. You'd be surprised, like that workflow has worked well for us for the last 8 years. Yeah, that's awesome and easy.
And that's what we want. Awesome and easy. It's all about, like from day one, Dean and Diony's vision and mission for Paperform has been about getting people back from work to life, right? So it's like, you can focus more on the things that matter for your nonprofit if you don't have to worry about where that data is going. Like, you know that it's going where it needs to go, and those emails are automatically getting sent. So that's great.
And honestly, I was trying to actually go through Paperform before this call just to see the areas that I haven't explored. So for example, like appointments. We haven't used appointments, but we probably could in some context. There's a lot of features in there that have been around for a long time that you don't know what you don't know.
So when you think about the impact that Paperform has had for Learn to Be and, in all the workflows and everything, like how much more efficient are you because of Paperform?
The families that we serve, they don't just need help today. They needed help 6 months ago, a year ago, as fast as possible. They needed support. So the name of the game for us is reaching as many students as we can and providing them with tutoring. That's as simple as I can put it. Whatever we can do to speed that up is what I want to use. And I think that Paperform has, over the last 10 years, made our ability to reach more students so much faster. It's tough for me to throw a number out there, but what I will say is not having to build a post-session feedback form on our own and then write the logic for when we should be sending the parent an email because it was a positive comment versus when we should be sending our team something because maybe there's something to explore. And we don't have to build any of that. All of that stuff has been built for us. Every piece of software we have to build is an obstacle to reaching more kids. So as little of that as we need to build, awesome. I'm game for that. And I think that's why I'm most grateful for Paperform. They make it so I don't have to code. I don't have to do. That's a very, very, very nice thing.
I love hearing that. That's great. Would you recommend Paperform to other businesses? Why not?
Yeah, 1,000%. Yes. I think maybe I was feeling especially inspired one day, and I'm not sure if you saw it, but I posted on LinkedIn like a nice shout out. And I don't post a lot on LinkedIn. So it's a very meaningful post from me because I love bootstrapped companies. I love husband wife entrepreneurs. That's awesome. But the product is just good. And I've tried a lot of these services, and it's better than the competitors. There's certain products when you log in, you just kind of like being there because everything is where it's supposed to be. That's what Paperform is. That's like a good product. You kind of feel that way with Apple products as well. You know, you use it and it makes sense. That's how Paperform is. It just works well, and I appreciate that.
Okay. If you could describe Paperform with 3 words, what would those 3 words be? Putting you on the spot here.
It's return on investment. You put your money into Paperform, and I think the return is going to be so large for your processes, for a time saved, and just like productivity, focusing on the things that matter to your business and not on data collection. Outsource that to Paperform, and you can start to do all the other things with that data that are more relevant. So I think return on investment, I think I cheated a little bit. It's more of a phrase than it is words, but
It's 3
also
words. That
easy, good, great, productive. But I think return on investment is probably the thing I would say.
That's awesome. And we love being part of that story too. So we appreciate hearing that. It's fantastic. So coming back to Learn to Be, we want people to know more about, how they might be able to help you. What are the needs for Learn to Be right now?
Good question. I think that the 2 areas that we are really looking to expand on, this is maybe for those living in the US. If you are interested in volunteering with us to tutor a student once or twice a week from the comfort of your home using tools like Paperform, we would be very, very grateful. I think we can never have enough tutors on our platform. That's one thing. And the second thing is, if there are any teachers who are watching this, school administrators, anybody thinking about adopting Paperform, you should. But also, if you are looking for support for your students, we are here to help. We are going to close this year with about 110,000 hours of tutoring across 6,000 students. I think because of platforms like Paperform, we have a huge capacity to help. We're not using the full capacity of our platform. I think we have a lot of scaling that we can do. Just trying to fill with students and tutors who might find us.
Is there anything else that you wanted to cover or share, like whether it's about Paperform or about Learn to Be?
I'll just say that Paperform is dope. It's like a really, really dope product. And you can cut this or leave it, whatever, but Paperform is awesome. And I think the product is awesome. Founders are awesome. Team is awesome. Always been supportive of me and Learn to Be. Extremely grateful. And thank you so much.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And we're thankful for people like you who are, impacting kids and communities with education, and that we can be part of your story is our privilege. So thank you for what you're doing and for, honoring us with such a great review of our product. So
I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And if there's any other ways that we can support you too, just let us know. But this is awesome.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you very soon.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Bye.